and welcome. This is Jaipur Waziri for ThePrint reporting to you from the Jaipur Literature Festival. Today we have a very special guest with us, English journalist and the Financial Times chief US commentator, Edward Luce. So sir, you had a very interesting session recently on Kissinger versus Brzezinski. I am not going to attempt to name your book because I'm going to butcher it. But in your book, you mentioned, you had the book, and Brzezinski almost foresaw a lot of the current geopolitical tensions. So looking back on his life and on his work, what lessons from the Cold War do you think the Americans and the West also in general have either forgotten or ignored?
That's a really good question. I think that America had strategy during the Cold War. Sometimes they were competing strategies. So, for example, Kissinger and Brzezinski had different views. But America had strategy in that it realized it needed to understand the world, the better to shape it, because there was this global ideological contest with the Soviet Union. Then it won the Cold War, mostly without a shot being fired. It won the ideological battle. The Soviet Union collapsed. And I think America then went into a sort of period of triumphalism and of hubris, the idea that everybody should just become like us, where America stopped studying the rest of the world. So the rest of the world, you should now study us.
Yeah.
And I think pride always goes before the fall. And I think that unipolar moment that America had in the 90s and beyond was a much shorter moment than it could have been if America had handled it better. And one of the results of this, the backlash to this, is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I think he's a cure worse than the disease, but he's not the origin of the problem. He is a symptom of the problem.
Yeah. I think my next question is that if you could ask Brzezinski one question about the world in 2026, what would it be, and what do you think his answer might reveal about where the US is heading in the Trump era?
I would ask him how to handle great power rivalry and competition with China. Because I believe the situation, China has evolved quite dramatically since Brzezinski, even since he was alive. He died 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But even in the last 8 years, quite dramatically, has shown that it can actually outcompete America on technology, which was the one area America felt safe. It would always be at the cutting edge. And so the question is this a zero-sum world or not? And I'm sure he would say, no, we do not want a zero-sum world. Well, then my question to him would be, what should America's strategy to China be to ensure this is not a zero-sum world and that this isn't a conflict in the making that would be the end of all conflicts?
Do you think Brzezinski might have an answer on how to deal with Trump?
I think Trump would confound, puzzle, occasionally amuse him, but I think,
with all of us.
Like with all of us, I think he would resent the domination of mind share, because it means we're talking about a lot of trivial stuff to do with manners and rudeness and courtesy and ignorance and all that kind of stuff. And we're not talking about the really big questions, climate change, great power competition, AI. We're actually not talking about the things that as a species we share in common, we face in common. And I think I think actually while he was alive, as he got older, maybe it was a function of age and getting sentimental, he more and more got into that we need to find ways of cooperating because the alternative is unimaginable. We have to learn how to cooperate.
Okay, that's a good one. So in coming to India now, in Spite of the Gods, you chronicled India's strange rise. Now, 2 decades later, India is a major global power. What surprises you the most about how India has or has not evolved in the past decade? And especially in terms of the democracy and in the inequality that's prevalent in this country.
So by the way, just to sort of, because I think a lot of people have asked about the word strange in my subtitle. I wasn't saying it's strange that India is rising.
Yeah.
I was saying the nature and of its rise is
thought
unusual.
That's what you meant.
Good.
Okay, maybe I'm the only one who thinks so.
You read it correctly. You're a smart young lady. So I guess what has surprised me a little is, well, maybe it hasn't surprised me, but I don't see India as nearly as assertive and self-confident as a global player that I would have expected if I'd been asked in 2006 where I would see India on the global stage in 2026. I would have thought it would be more prominent than it is.
Why do you think that is?
Partly because your neighbor is China. And so that sort of China's scale is going to overshadow India a little bit. But I think partly because you remain an incredibly plural and diverse country, and more homogenous countries find it easier to project outwards. Plural countries tend to sort of face inwards quite a bit because creating consensus is a lot more difficult. And I think that will always be a feature of India. It's one of the most attractive and compelling qualities of Indian civilization. Its plurality. But it makes it harder to sort of build the simplistic outward projection that, say, even a China can do relative to India.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That's all the questions I have for you today. But thank
Pleasure.
you so much for agreeing to do this. ThePrint is a digital media partner for the Jaipur Literature Festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you.